Hey there, this is Seb from the Dual Bros channel, and I love Bujins.
I mean, how could I not? They're an archetype of light monsters whose focus is making rank 4 XCs, and they're partially based off Japanese folklore and partially based off Yu-Gi-Oh! GX characters. Look, we even have Misawa! This archetype is pretty old, first debuting in 2014, but with some serious deck building, I have made a list that can punch well above its weight class. When I test it out with my friends who all use more modern decks, it can hold its own against them quite a bit. Let's do this.
Starting things off with the main deck. 2 copies of Bujin Arasuda. You're going to be banishing a lot in this deck. This guy specials when he's banished. Pretty nifty extender over here. 3 copies of Bujin Torifune. This is the heart and soul of the deck. Essentially a rescue rabbit type of deal. Tribute for cost, get 2 Bujin. Instant rank 4 instant combo starter. Oh, and speaking of instant combo starters, triple Mahitotsu. Discard 1 to special him, and he can banish 1 from grave to send 1 to grave, which will set up quite a bit. 1 Hirume, another extender who will special herself by banishing 1 from the grave. And 1 Hiruko, whose pendulum scale effect will let you rank up an Xyz monster. That's it for our beast warrior type Bujin. Now we have the Bujingi, the animals, the beasts. We got 1 hare, who can protect your guys, but most importantly, banish itself as a quick effect without any conditions really. 1 turtle for some protection. Kirin for some destruction. Shinyo and Crane, who are basically honest effects. And Bujinki Centipede, which is basically a multi-legged MST. And the Bujins, as I said, they do banish stuff a lot, which does benefit a certain archetype incredibly well. Enter 1 copy of Nemesis Flag, who will search out your other Nemesis cards. Yeah, you see where this is going. 1 Nemesis Corridor, who can just instantly become a Thunder Dragon Colossus. Lovely stuff over here. And 1 Nemesis Umbrella. It's not as good as the first 2, but it does have its uses, and that is because a common way to deal with your Thunder Dragon Colossus is just to bounce it back to the extra deck. And then you can use Umbrella to rescue your corridor from the graveyard and just summon Colossus all over again. And it's also water attribute, which adds another attribute to the mix, and that will be incredibly helpful for summoning out Arch Nemesis Protoss. This guy needs no introduction. Helping him is his lesser known brother, 1 copy of Arch Nemesis Eschatos, who is a little easier to summon out, like we have Beasts and Beast Warriors with our Bujins. We've got a lot more types with our Nemesis, and even more types coming up with the hand traps. So yeah, not much that needs elaborating on here. Big dragon, board break, no summon. Very deadly stuff. And now for those hand traps I was talking about. Ash Blossom, of course, and as a fire, more Protoss time. 2 Effect Veiler, 1 Ghost Ogre, 1 Nibiru. You notice we're running a lot of light attribute traps. That is going to come in handy later on. And 1 Droll and Lockbird. Once again, more attributes, more Protoss. And a lot of decks do be searching crazy these days. So Droll and Lockbird is just a nice way to say, I'm sorry, your combo's taking 5 minutes, not 5 hours. On to the spells. Bujin Carnation. This doesn't come up much because it needs a clear field, but when it does, it will be the ultimate comeback card, so that's why it's at 1. It's also worth noting that I said earlier Mahitotsu can discard another Bujin card to special itself. This technically counts as a Bujin card, so if you draw it and you've got stuff on your field, it's not a dead draw. Just get Mahitotsu and be like, pew, away you go. And this is a Beast Warrior deck. 3 Tenki is a must. And about those light traps earlier, Small World. Like I said earlier, the Torifune is the heart and soul of the deck. You do want to get to Torifune as quickly as possible, which is where these two come in. Using the light hand traps as a bridge, you can get basically any Bujin card you want. And in a spicy turn of events, this can also search one of your two Arch Nemesis monsters by using the other as the bridge. Insanely versatile, but I am running it at 2, just because when I was running it at 3, I was drawing the third one a little too often and it was getting a bit cloggy. Photon Sanctuary. A certain Xyz monster makes this bad boy searchable, and you can use it to get out your links very easily. Branded Regained. I mean, self-explanatory. We got lights, we got banishes, we got Branded Regained. One Called by the Grave, because hand traps are a menace. And one Monster Reborn, because we are going to be using the graveyard quite a bit. As for the traps, we got these two Continuous Disruptions. We got one Silhouette Trick and one Angel Statue Azure Rune. These two probably give away one of the extra deck monsters, don't they? Speaking of which, extra deck time. 2 copies of Bujin Susanoo. If Torifune is the heart of the main deck, Susanoo is the heart of the extra deck. 1 detach means 1 search or 1 dump, and he can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each. So yeah, all around do gooder. And 1 Bujinki Amaterasu. Of course, you'll use your hero core from earlier to rank up one of these Susanoos into your Amaterasu, and she can rescue cards from your banished pile. Once again, combo extending time. Lots of rank 4 Xyzs do mean we have the opportunity for 1 Utopic Future and 1 Utopic Draco Future as one of our main boss monsters. Another boss monster is, of course, Typhon. Yeah, ever since I pulled this guy, he's been going in virtually every deck. I love Typhon. 1 Tiger King. He is a little harder to summon out than the rest because he needs 2 Beast Warriors, and Torifune specifically gets you 1 Beast Warrior, 1 Beast. But he can negate effects, and he can get you another search by grabbing you a new Tenki. So go Tiger King. Galaxy Photon Dragon for searching out your Photon Sanctuary. If you have this, getting Utopic Draco Future becomes pretty easy. But not as easy as when you have Gagaga Magician. Enough said. Infernal Flame Banshee for searching your Nemesis flag. Tornado Dragon, because decks with spells and traps are becoming increasingly more annoying. Looking at you, Blue Eyes White Dragon. And of course, Wind, more Protoss fodder. Now on to the links. 1 Silhouette Rabbit. I was so lucky, I got this guy from a tournament pack, and I've never looked back. This is an incredible addition to Bujins, because harkening back to your Flame Banshee and your flag, once they've searched, there's no use for them on the field. You can just link those off into him and get yourself another continuous trap. 1 Bujinki Hashima. Instant rank 4. More stuff for Draco Future. We are running light monsters, so I figured 1 Line of the Light Charmer would be a good addition. Plus, if your opponent kills her, she'll get you Torifune, which is always nice. And of course, here we go. Everyone's favourite card, Thunder Dragon Colossus. That's it for the deck list. Now let's do a few combos. I'm not going to be showing every combo with this deck, because 1, that would take forever, and 2, this is one of those decks that rewards you for being creative, so I think it'll be more satisfying if, I show you the guidelines and then you figure out the rest yourself. But for this first combo, you'll need 2 cards in your hand, which are going to be 1 Bujin Torifune and 1 Bujin Arasuda. So what you're going to do is you're going to normal summon your Torifune, tribute for cost, hope it doesn't get hand trapped, and that will summon you 1 Mahitotsu and 1 Bujingi of your choice. Make sure it's not the hair. And of course, Torifune will now be in your graveyard. You'll use Mahitotsu's effect. Banish Torifune to send the heir to the graveyard. And then you will banish your heir with the target Mahitotsu to protect it. But more importantly, just get your heir in the banished pile. Okay, you got 2 of these, 2 of these. And because you banished something, Arasuda's effect will trigger. And now you have 3 level 4s on the field. You're going to want to overlay 2 of them into Susanoo. It's a good habit to detach your Bujingis when you use Xyz effects, because these guys have graveyard effects. So we're just going to detach the turtle to trigger Susanoo's effect. And that's going to search you Bujin Hiruko. You're going to scale Hiruko and use his effect, banishing him to rank up your Susanoo into Bujinki Amaterasu. And then you're going to detach the Susanoo to special summon back any one of your banished dudes. I think it's best to get out Torifune just so he's like away from the banished pile now. Then you can Xyz these 2. And this is where things get spicy. With 2 in the banished pile, you could just Xyz for Infernal Flame Banshee and then, you know, search out your flag and begin the whole Colossus combo. So it's like detach 1, raise your flag. For those of you who don't know, the Nemesis, like the regular ones, not the Arc Nemesis, you can special summon them by shuffling in one of your banished. So just shuffle in 1 banished, get out the flag, flag's effect to search your corridor. Corridor effect, shuffle in your remaining banished dude to summon. And then, once again, for those of you who don't know, the Thunder Dragon Colossus, who prevents your opponent from searching, can be special summoned by tributing 1 Thunder Monster if a Thunder Monster's effect was activated in the hand. Corridor's special summon did shuffle something into the deck. It is technically the activation of an effect. He becomes your new boss monster. And then with your Flame Banshee and your Amaterasu, you can just Xyz these 2 into Future, and then just turn him into your Draco Future. But what if you want to keep your Amaterasu? I mean, all those Bujingis in the grave can only do their stuff if there is a Bujin on the field. In that case, let's dial it back a bit. You've got your Amaterasu here, and you've got your 2 Xyz materials here. If you remember from earlier, we did detach a Susanoo and he's now in the grave. So we're just gonna make these 2. Gaga Magician, detach 1, get back your Susanoo, and then Susanoo and Magician become your Draco Future. And because he has Gaga as one of his materials, he can also detach 2 to give himself a 4,000 attack. But the cost is that he can't use his other effects. So it's more of like a last minute if you want an attack boost rather than like a willy-nilly, okay, 1,000 more attack points. So yeah, a lot you can do with just 2 cards. But what can you do with just 1 card? With that 1 card being Bujin Torifune. Here we go. Normal Torifune. He does his thing, getting us Mahitotsu plus the turtle. We're going to basically do the same thing again, you know, banish our Torifune, which will get us the bunny rabbit. Foreshadowing? But yeah, we get bunny rabbit, banish him. And then with 2 in the banished, you know, we just do basically the same thing again. We get out our Flame Banshee, and then shield detach 1 to search us our 2 lovely Nemesis fellows. Well, I'll search our first one, the flag, who will then search us our second one, the corridor. Whoa, where did I put those cards? Apologies, I'm still new to this kind of stuff. But yeah, we get our flag. And then flag's effect is going to search the corridor. Just pretend corridor's here. I'm just going to tribute that guy for the Thunder Dragon Colossus. And now with these two, just going to link them off into our Silhouette Rabbit. And then Rabbit does search us one of these two. If I'm starting things off, I like using this combo with my Azurune. But for some decks, being able to negate 2 cards with Silhouette Trick does come in more handy. And of course, this is pretty generic stuff. It's just rank 4 XZs. So you can get a bit spicy. Like that's why the Hirume's here. If your first combo gets disrupted, you'll inevitably have something in the graveyard. Just special her and begin the thing again. This deck is so fluid. I love it. And one final funny banishing trick. The Banshee is of course a Pyro, just like the flag over here. So let's say you were summoning one of your 2 Arch Nemesis monsters. Let's go with Protos here, we will summon him. If you banish the Banshee as one of the materials, while the flag is here, her lesser known effect will trigger. Because you control the Pyro while she's banished, she is going to come back with an attack boost. It's not a high attack boost, but it is nice to have one more body on the field, especially when it's a rank 4 and you are running Future. Yeah, lovely, lovely deck. I highly recommend giving it a go, seeing how far you can get from it. Old doesn't always mean bad. Sometimes old is gold. And sometimes the cool cards are the ones you want to play, not the ones that cost $50. So yeah, that's it for this haphazard deck profile, hype montage and tutorial. Hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.